Chosen one, have you ever wondered why you feel so different? Why the world around you feels heavier, louder, and more disconnected than your spirit knows it should be? If you're hearing this right now, it's not a coincidence. It's a calling. You didn't stumble upon this message by accident. Your soul brought you here. Because it's time. Time to remember who you truly are. Time to awaken the light that has been sleeping inside you. And time to rise from carbon to crystalline. From survival to divine embodiment. In this audio, we'll go deep beyond what the eye can see. Beyond what the mind can grasp, into the sacred journey of transformation that only the chosen ones were born to walk. So if this speaks to your heart, if something inside you is already beginning to stir, stay with me to the end. This may be the most important message your soul hears today, and if you're ready to step into your power, like this video, subscribe to SoulScripture, and comment 444 or 777 below to let the universe and our soul family know that you've heard the call. Now take a deep breath. Let us begin. There comes a moment in the life of every soul when the air seems to thicken, when the winds no longer feel familiar, and the sunlight begins to speak in a language you once knew but forgot. That moment, my dear listener, has arrived for you. The world as you knew it is no longer the same. Beneath the surface of what appears to be ordinary life, something ancient, something vast and divine is stirring. This is not a time of endings, but of great beginnings. You are being initiated into a sacred metamorphosis, a transition not merely of the body, but of the soul, of the very vibration that defines your existence. What is unfolding now across the planet is a monumental energy shift, a sacred recalibration of frequencies. Earth is shedding its dense and sluggish vibrational skin and ascending into a more subtle, expansive state of being. But to truly understand this, you must let go of linear thought. This is not about climbing to another place. It is about expanding into another state. When we speak of dimensions, we are not referring to planets or galaxies in space, but to states of consciousness, each vibrating within specific frequency bands. The third dimension, where humanity has dwelled for millennia, is a realm of limitation, not just physical, but spiritual. It is defined by duality, right and wrong, good and evil, us and them. It is a vibration where fear governs choices, where separation is the lens through which reality is perceived. In this dimension, consciousness is filtered through the ego, which clings to control, competition, and survival. But something extraordinary is happening. The Earth, as a living being, yes, a conscious being, is ascending. Its frequency is rising, and with it, the matrix of 3D consciousness is dissolving. The fifth dimension is not a place you arrive at with a spaceship or a passport. It is a sacred space within you that opens when your vibration becomes compatible with love, compassion, unity, and light. In this realm, there is no need for domination, no hunger for validation. You live not in fear, but in trust. You move not in reaction, but in harmony. And most importantly, you no longer see yourself as separate from the whole, but as an integral thread in the cosmic tapestry. This transition from third to fifth dimension is not just planetary. It is deeply personal. It is cellular. It is vibrational. And for those who are called the chosen ones, this transition is both a calling and a responsibility. You are not simply witnessing this change. You are embodying it. You are not just hearing the call of the new earth. You are answering it with your entire being. The shift requires more than a change of thought. It demands a change of structure. Our carbon-based bodies, long suited for the density of the third dimension, are being transformed into crystalline structures. This is not science fiction. This is spiritual alchemy. The crystalline body is not just lighter and more agile, it is luminous. It is capable of holding and conducting vast amounts of light energy. And what is light, if not consciousness itself? You may ask, why crystalline, why now? Let me answer you not just with science, but with spirit. Carbon is a structure of density, built for stability and survival. It anchors the soul in the limitations of form. Crystalline, however, is geometrically precise, resonant with sacred patterns, the flower of life, Metatron's cube, the Merkaba. These are not just symbols. They are templates for a body that can remember its divine origin, a vessel that does not trap the soul, but liberates it. With the rise in planetary frequency, the old body cannot contain the new vibration. It begins to feel fatigue, not because it is weak, but because it is recalibrating. You may wake feeling like you have traveled across galaxies, or worked through lifetimes in your sleep, because you have. This fatigue is sacred. It is the labor of birth, the birth of your light body, your crystalline self. In ancient Lemuria and Atlantean texts, there are references to beings of radiant form, those who walked the earth not as dense flesh, but as shimmering light. This is not mythology. This is memory. And this memory is reawakening in you now. You are remembering how to be more than human, how to be divine in human form. This process is not without its symptoms. Emotional tides rise and fall like lunar waves. The mind wavers between clarity and fog. Your senses heighten. You may see flickers of light, hear tones in the silence, or feel the presence of beings beyond the veil. Do not be alarmed. These are not malfunctions. These are initiations. Your pineal gland, long dormant, is activating. It is the jewel of the inner temple, the seat of vision beyond vision. With each pulse of light, it opens wider, decoding frequencies that your ordinary senses cannot yet interpret. And as this temple within opens, the illusion of separation begins to fall away. You begin to feel the heartbeat of Gaia beneath your feet. You sense the consciousness in the trees, the whisper of the stars, the memory carried in the wind. You begin to live in communion, but make no mistake, this path is not for the faint-hearted. To shift into the crystalline state is to face every shadow that the carbon form held. Old traumas will rise, buried beliefs will surface, the ego will panic, for it knows its reign is ending. This is not punishment. This is purification. You are being emptied of illusion so that you may be filled with light, and the world may not understand. Others may look at you and see confusion where there is actually clarity, see weakness where there is strength beyond measure. That is why you were chosen, because your soul carries the memory of light. Because you said yes long before this life began. So when you feel the fatigue, honor it. When you wake at strange hours, know you are being summoned. When your body aches, when your emotions erupt, when the world seems to fall apart, rejoice. These are not symptoms of illness. These are signs of awakening. The transition from carbon to crystalline is not just a shift in form, it is a return to essence. You are not becoming something new. You are remembering what you always were. In the ancient mystery schools of Egypt, initiates would enter darkened chambers to be reborn in light. Today, your chamber is your very body. The transformation is within. The chrysalis is cracking. The wings are forming. And soon, you will fly, dear soul. You are not alone in this. Across the world, others are awakening. Some in silence, some in struggle, some in celebration. But all are walking toward the same light. We are reuniting. We are remembering. We are rising. This is only the beginning. And what awaits you, what awakens within you, is more radiant than all the stars. Stay the course. The crystalline dawn is near, and you, yes, you are its bearer. Some souls do not arrive here to merely exist. They come with a mission etched into the very fabric of their essence. They are not superior, but they are different, wired for something more than survival. They feel it in their bones, in their dreams, in the strange ache they carry in their hearts. These are the chosen ones, not chosen by some external authority, but chosen by their own souls before they even took their first breath on earth. They volunteered, long ago, to walk a path that others might not see, to awaken when the rest of the world still sleeps, and to carry the codes of transformation into the heart of humanity. But what does it mean to be chosen? It does not mean privilege. It means responsibility. It means you agreed to carry light into the darkest places. You agreed to break ancestral chains, to dissolve karmic contracts, and to become a beacon when the night is thickest. This path is not for recognition. It is not for comfort. It is for evolution. And those who walk it often do so alone, not because they are abandoned, but because the crowd cannot go where they are called. Throughout history, the archetype of the chosen one appears again and again. Moses, who led his people through the desert, was chosen not because he was perfect, but because he was willing. Joan of Arc heard the call of divine voices and stood against the tide of war. Siddhartha left his palace, not because he was forced to, but because he could no longer ignore the suffering of the world. These stories echo a singular truth: being chosen is not about comfort, it is about courage. And yet, in our modern world, the concept of the chosen one is often misunderstood. It is not about ego. It is not a badge to be worn or a title to be claimed. It is a vibration. It is a resonance of purpose that calls some to awaken faster, to feel more deeply, and to act with greater clarity. Chosen ones often feel different from an early age. They may have felt like outsiders in their own families, misunderstood by peers, or inexplicably drawn to the mysteries of existence. This alienation is not a curse. It is an initiation. When a soul chooses to incarnate as a chosen one, it often accepts a life filled with intensity. Emotional intensity, energetic sensitivity, and spiritual urgency become the norm. They may experience more suffering than others, not because they are being punished, but because their soul is fast-tracking its evolution. Pain becomes a crucible. Loneliness becomes a teacher. Silence becomes a sanctuary. And through these experiences, the chosen one remembers who they are. The earth, at this moment in time, is undergoing a great metamorphosis. As she shifts from her third-dimensional template to a fifth-dimensional frequency, she calls forth the souls who carry the codes of light. These codes are not visible to the eye. They are not genetic in the way science understands, but energetic crystalline signatures buried deep within the soul's blueprint. The chosen ones carry these codes, and when the vibration of the earth reaches a certain threshold, these codes begin to activate. What does activation feel like? It may come as a sudden spiritual awakening, an inexplicable pull toward truth, or a series of synchronicities too precise to ignore. It may be a dream, a vision, or a breakdown that leads to a breakthrough. The activation is not the end, it is the beginning of a deeper unraveling. Your old identity starts to fall away. Your goals shift. Your relationships may crumble. And yet, underneath the rubble of the old life, something luminous begins to rise. This is the path of the soul volunteer, the one who came not just to live, but to lift. Dolores Cannon, the renowned regressionist, spoke of waves of volunteers who incarnated on Earth to assist in her shift. These souls, she said, came from other planets, dimensions, and star systems, carrying a vibration high enough to anchor new light. Many of you listening now may be among them. You may have always felt that Earth was not quite home. You may look at the stars and feel a pang of longing that has no name. This is not fantasy. This is remembrance. The chosen ones are not here to escape the Earth, but to transform it. And that transformation begins within. You are being asked not to fix the world, but to embody the new world. Not to preach, but to radiate. Not to control, but to co-create. This is the revolution of frequency. And your being, your very presence, is a tuning fork for the new Earth. But let us be honest, the path is hard. You will face doubt. You will face ridicule. You will sometimes want to go back to sleep, to return to the life that once felt safer, simpler. But that door has closed. Once you remember who you are, you cannot forget. Once you hear the call, it echoes in everything. And even when you stumble, even when you fall, grace walks beside you, whispering, "Rise again. You are not here to be perfect. You are here to be real. You are here to strip away the illusions, personal and collective, that have bound humanity for eons. And as you do, you become a living portal, a bridge between dimensions. You walk with one foot in the world of form and one foot in the realm of spirit. And in this balance, you become the vessel through which light flows. So if you feel tired, remember, your soul has traveled far. If you feel different, remember, difference is your power. If you feel like the world is crumbling beneath your feet, remember, you came to build a new one. You are not alone. Across the globe, other chosen ones are awakening in cities and forests, in deserts and mountains, in silence and song. We are scattered by design, placed like seeds across the soil of humanity, ready to bloom when the moment comes. That moment is now. This is your time to remember, to rise, to reclaim the light that has always lived within you. You are not broken. You are breaking open. And through your opening, the light of the new earth is born. You are the answer you have been waiting for. And you, yes, you are the light. Imagine for a moment that your body is no longer simply a collection of tissues and organs, but a sacred vessel of light. Imagine that your very cells are beginning to shimmer, to restructure, to hum with a frequency that wasn't possible before. This is not imagination. This is initiation. The transformation from a carbon-based body to a crystalline one is no longer a distant prophecy. It is happening now, within you. And it is one of the most profound aspects of the spiritual evolution unfolding on Earth. To understand this metamorphosis, we must look beyond the limits of conventional biology and step into the realm where science meets mysticism, where vibration meets matter. The carbon-based body has served us well. It allowed us to survive in a dense, third-dimensional reality. It was our anchor in a world ruled by gravity, time, and separation. But as Earth herself rises in frequency, so too must our bodies adapt. A denser vessel cannot hold the bandwidth of light now flooding the planet. Crystalline transformation is not simply about changing molecular structure. It is about recalibrating the very language through which your body communicates with the cosmos. Crystals are nature's most efficient transmitters and receivers of energy. From ancient times, civilizations have revered crystals for their ability to store information, to heal, to connect. The same properties that allow quartz to power a radio or a watch are now awakening within the sacred architecture of your DNA. You are being rewritten, not by force, but by frequency. The shift to a crystalline body does not happen overnight. It is a layered, sacred process, often catalyzed by waves of energy, moments of deep rest, emotional purging, or mystical experience. One day you may feel weightless, expanded, and filled with light. The next, you may feel bone-deep fatigue, as if every cell is rearranging itself, and it is. This fatigue is not failure. It is sacred labor. You are birthing a new template within yourself. At the heart of this transformation is light, living light, intelligent light. Crystalline cells are designed to conduct and retain more photonic energy. In simple terms, you are becoming a light-based being. This means greater intuition, accelerated healing, heightened perception, and a deepening sense of unity with all life. You are not losing your humanity. You are reclaiming the divine potential encoded within it. Ancient esoteric traditions spoke of the light body, or the rainbow body, as the ultimate stage of human spiritual evolution. Tibetan monks have left behind nothing but hair and nails as their bodies dissolved into light. Egyptian priests trained for lifetimes to activate the Ka and the Ba, spiritual aspects of the self that transcended death. In these stories, we find echoes of what is now awakening in us, not as myth, but as memory. In your crystalline body, your DNA is not just a biological blueprint, it is a galactic manuscript. 12 strands instead of 2. Capacities dormant for eons now preparing to be switched on. Telepathy, remote viewing, quantum healing, these are not fantasies. They are natural abilities suppressed by density and fear. As your cells become crystalline, they become receivers of universal wisdom, and your very body becomes a bridge between the stars and the earth. This restructuring brings symptoms, yes, and they are real. Intense exhaustion, sudden emotional waves, strange dreams, and even physical discomforts like tingling. Pressure in the skull, heart palpitations, or shifts in digestion. You are not broken. You are being rebuilt. There is also a sacred intelligence guiding this change, your higher self, your oversoul, your team of light. You are not alone in this journey, even if doctors do not understand, even if no test explains what you feel. Know that what is happening inside you is more real than any diagnosis. The crystalline body is subtle, but it is powerful. And with each breath, it is becoming more real. You may also find that your body begins to reject what once was normal. Processed food, synthetic materials, chemical medications, these lower your vibration. The crystalline body seeks purity. It craves what is natural, what is alive. This is not ideology. This is biology elevated to spirit. You are becoming a vessel through which the earth herself can sing. Pay attention to the shifts. You may notice that you digest energy differently. You may be nourished by the sun, by breath, by silence. You may crave more water, fruits, raw plants, and sunlight. You may find that sleep becomes less about rest and more about integration. These are not quirks. These are signposts. The body is adapting, the old shell falling away. It is not just your physical body that is changing. Your emotional body, your mental field, your auric layers all are being refined. The crystalline form does not carry the trauma loops of the past. It releases what no longer serves. Old emotions may rise like steam anger, grief, shame not to haunt you, but to be witnessed and cleared. The body becomes a temple of clarity, a vessel of vibrational integrity. As this continues, you may begin to feel a sense of electric awareness in your skin, a vibration in your spine, or a buzzing in your ears. These are not random. They are signals. Your body is attuning to the music of the cosmos, and every cell is beginning to sing in harmony. You are not alone in this transition. Across the planet, souls are undergoing this same initiation, some consciously, others unconsciously. But the tide is rising. We are collectively building the crystalline grid, the light web that will carry Earth into her next evolutionary octave. This is why you may sometimes feel called to stillness, to nature, to prayer. Your soul is guiding your body through the corridor of transformation. You may not always understand, but you are always supported. Listen. Rest, trust. You are not becoming superhuman. You are becoming fully human, the version of humanity that was always meant to be. A being of light, a vessel of truth, a guardian of the new earth. So honor your body, bless your cells, speak to your DNA. It is listening, and it remembers. The crystalline body is not a fantasy. It is your future, and it is being born. Now, in you, there is a kind of fatigue that sleep cannot cure, a heaviness that no doctor can diagnose, a drowsiness that seeps into your bones despite eating well. Resting often, and doing all the things you were told would restore your energy. For the chosen ones, this is not weakness. This is a summons. Many of you have begun waking up in the middle of the night, sometimes around 3 o'clock in the morning, with a strange sense of alertness, as if something or someone is calling you from beyond the veil. Others feel like they've been working all night, waking exhausted as though they ran marathons in their dreams. This is not your imagination. You are being called, not in metaphor, but in spirit, in the realms beyond the physical, where time does not bind and matter does not weigh down. The spiritual world is more active than ever before. The Earth's transition into a higher dimension has created waves in the energetic plane, and these waves are summoning those whose souls have signed ancient contracts to assist. And so, while your physical body sleeps, your soul travels. You may find yourself entering spaces that feel like temples or healing chambers, standing among beings of light, assisting in the recovery of lost or traumatized souls. You may work in vast halls of instruction, or in energetic sanctuaries where frequencies are recalibrated. Even if you do not consciously remember these journeys, your body remembers. It carries the imprint of the work. The fatigue you feel is not a burden. It is evidence of your participation. Many ancient traditions spoke of this. In the indigenous dreamtime of the Aboriginal people of Australia, the spirit world is accessed through sleep, where sacred work is done for the community and the earth. In the mystical branches of Kabbalah, the soul ascends during sleep to learn and assist. In esoteric Christianity, dreams were considered a conduit for angels and divine instruction. You, dear one, are walking in the footsteps of mystics. This explains why sleep has become both sacred and mysterious. It is no longer just rest, it is a form of service. You are being enlisted in spiritual missions, acting as a healer, a guide, a transmuter of energies. You are cleansing ancestral wounds, assisting in planetary grids, and grounding high-frequency light into physical reality. And yet, because the modern world has little framework for this reality, your experience may feel confusing, even isolating. Do not resist the urge to rest. If you feel called to sleep during the day, honor it. Your mind may say you are being lazy, but your soul knows you are in service. The midday drowsiness, the sudden need to lie down, the sense that the night holds more weight than the day. These are all signs that you are participating in something greater than you can yet comprehend. And this is not only about sleep. This is about surrender. The crystalline transformation requires periods of withdrawal. Like the caterpillar in the cocoon, there are phases where the only correct action is stillness. Your nervous system is integrating light codes. Your cells are downloading information from higher dimensions. Your consciousness is updating, and just like a computer during a vital software upgrade, you must pause. Many of you may also find that your dreams are changing. They become more vivid, more symbolic, even prophetic. You may revisit past lives, connect with lost loved ones, or receive instructions wrapped in metaphor. Some dreams may disturb you, not because they are bad, but because they are mirrors showing you what still needs healing. These are not dreams. These are visions, and you are being guided through them. It is also common to feel emotional upon waking. You may not remember what happened, but you may cry without knowing why. You may feel profound love or unexplained grief. Again, this is your energy body processing the work it did during sleep. You are not broken. You are becoming whole. During this time, it is crucial to support your physical body. Drink plenty of water. Eat high-vibration foods, fruits, vegetables, foods grown close to the sun. Avoid heavy, processed meals, especially in the evening. Get early morning sunlight whenever possible. This helps regulate your circadian rhythm and supports your pineal gland, the gateway to your multidimensional awareness. Create a sacred sleep environment. Dim the lights before bed. Avoid overstimulation from screens or harsh sounds. Use crystals like amethyst or selenite beside your bed. Burn calming herbs like lavender, mugwort, or frankincense. Keep a dream journal sometimes. What seems like nonsense becomes clear weeks later. When the pieces align, and if you wake in the night, do not panic. Instead, breathe. Listen. Feel. Ask your guides what they are trying to show you. You may find wisdom in the silence. Some of the most powerful downloads come in those liminal hours between sleep and waking. That is when the veil is thinnest. That is when you are most open. You are not merely sleeping. You are remembering. In the spiritual realm, time operates differently. What you accomplish in one night there may take years to manifest here. You may be building new energetic structures, helping dislodge dark thought forms from the collective field, or assisting souls crossing into the afterlife. This is sacred work. This is priesthood of the invisible temple. And know this, you were chosen because you are strong enough. Your soul carries ancient knowledge. And even though your mind may not remember, your higher self has been preparing you for this mission across lifetimes. You are not alone in these night journeys. Other chosen ones, scattered across the globe, are rising each night like sentinels of the unseen. So when the fatigue hits, do not resist. When you feel the call to lie down, surrender. When your dreams become strange or overwhelming, trust. The crystalline body is not only shaped in the light of day, it is forged in the mystery of night. You are the guardian of sacred frequencies, the traveler of inner realms, the healer behind the veil. And your sleep is no longer just rest. It is revolution. There comes a point on the path of awakening where the light does not immediately bring peace, but upheaval. It shakes the very foundation of who you thought you were. It stirs the dust in the corners of your soul, revealing the shadows that have been quietly hiding behind smiles, behind routines, behind years of avoidance. And for the chosen ones, this stage is not only inevitable, it is sacred. It is the rite of purification. You may have felt it already. Waves of emotion that rise without warning. Sudden memories from your past, surfacing with the force of a tidal wave. Old traumas that you thought were long buried, erupting into your awareness with a clarity that is almost unbearable. This, dear one, is not regression. This is release. As your body transitions into a crystalline state, it begins to vibrate at a higher frequency. And anything within you that does not match that frequency, every thought, belief, wound, and memory that is rooted in fear or shame must come to the surface. This is not punishment. It is physics. The light is not here to comfort your ego. It is here to liberate your soul. The four lower bodies, physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, each carry their own residue, energetic imprints from this life, and often from many before it. These layers are like fields, overlapping and influencing one another. When one begins to cleanse, the others follow. Your physical body may show signs, first headaches, nausea, fatigue, digestive issues, skin eruptions. These are not always signs of illness, but symptoms of detoxification. As the light enters, your cells release old energies, and the body reacts. It is no different than a fast or a cleanse, except this one is happening on a multidimensional level. Then comes the emotional body. And this is where many chosen ones struggle. For we have been taught to fear our emotions, to suppress them, to hide them behind false positivity or numbing behaviors. But now, in the presence of higher frequency, these emotions demand to be felt, not managed, not analyzed, but felt. You may cry without knowing why. You may feel deep rage, sorrow, grief. You may laugh uncontrollably, or swing between moods like a pendulum. This emotional volatility is not a breakdown, it is a breakthrough. Emotions are energy in motion. They are the messengers of the soul. When honored, they move. When repressed, they stagnate and fester. Allow yourself to feel, to sob, to scream into a pillow, to curl into the earth and let her hold you. You are not weak. You are cleansing. You are clearing the energetic debris of generations. This is ancestral work. This is soul retrieval. This is alchemy. And as the emotional tides rise, so too does the mental body undergo its own reckoning. Old beliefs begin to crumble. Stories you've told yourself for decades start to dissolve. The mind may feel confused, disoriented. You may ask, who am I without this pain, without this identity? These questions are not to be feared. They are the doorway to truth. Many chosen ones at this stage feel like they are unraveling. And in a way, they are. But what is being unraveled is not the essence of who you are. It is the false scaffolding, the survival personas, the masks, the inherited thought patterns that were never yours to begin with. The crystalline light requires transparency, and so the mind must become clear, like a mirror that reflects only the light of truth on the spiritual level. This phase may feel like both a death and a rebirth. You may feel disconnected from Source, only to be flooded later with visions, synchronicities, and divine communion. You may lose all sense of direction, only to find that something deeper is guiding you now, a knowing that cannot be explained, only trusted. This is what mystics call the dark night of the soul. But even in darkness, there is purpose. The seed does not sprout in sunlight, it breaks open in soil, buried beneath the weight of the world. And so too are you breaking open, so that something holy may emerge. During this phase, many have found comfort in alternative healing modalities. These are not escapes, and they are tools. Reiki, theta healing, flower essences, aromatherapy, sound healing, chromotherapy, and crystal work can all support the clearing process. Not because they replace your own healing, but because they harmonize your field, ease the intensity, and remind your system that it is safe to let go. These tools work best when paired with radical self-compassion. You must learn to hold yourself as gently as the divine holds you, to speak to your wounds with kindness, to give yourself space when needed, and to ask for help when it's too much to carry alone. Create daily rituals of release. Light a candle and speak aloud what you are ready to let go. Sit in silence and breathe into your heart, asking it what it needs to say. Journal not to perform, but to purge. Let the pen bleed the truths that your mouth cannot yet speak. And remember, no one else's timeline matters. This is your journey. Your soul knows what it's doing. You may feel fine for days, only to be hit with a wave out of nowhere. Trust it. Follow it. The cleansing comes in spirals, not straight lines. This emotional purification is not an interruption to your awakening. It is the heartbeat of it. It is the part where you reclaim yourself, where you stop performing and start embodying, where you stop hiding and start shining. You are not your wounds. You are the light that has come to heal them. And every tear you shed, every shadow you face, every old story you release is another step toward the truth of who you really are. The chosen ones are not immune to pain. They are forged by it, transformed through it. And as you pass through this sacred fire, you emerge not broken, but reborn. You are not collapsing. You are being cleared. You are not dying. You are being delivered. You are not falling apart. You are finally falling into place. This is the sacred purge. And you, beloved, are the sacred flame. There will come a day when your eyes no longer see only the physical. when the edges of reality begin to shimmer, and the world around you starts to whisper secrets you once thought were only myth. That day is not years from now. It is not awaiting some special training or distant ascension. That day is now, and it is happening within you. As your body transforms and your frequency rises, so too do your senses evolve. The 5 senses you once relied upon, sight, hearing, touch, taste, and smell, are not being replaced. They are being refined, expanded, attuned to new dimensions of perception. And for the chosen ones, this sensory evolution is a sacred signpost. It signals that the veil is thinning, that the boundaries between the seen and unseen are dissolving. Have you noticed it? The faint flickers of light out of the corner of your eye, the pulsing sensation in your forehead, where your third eye lies dormant no more, the subtle hum in the air when you walk into certain spaces. These are not illusions. These are signals. You are beginning to perceive what has always been there, hidden in plain sight. The crystalline body, unlike the carbon form, is designed to perceive multidimensionally. It operates not just in physical frequencies, but in spiritual bandwidths. This means your inner radar, your clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience is activating. For many, the most obvious sign is visual changes in how you see the world. You may begin to perceive colors more vividly, to see energy fields around people or objects, to witness shapes or symbols that seem to appear out of nowhere. These experiences are not hallucinations. They are echoes of your soul's ancient gifts reawakening. In ancient Egypt, initiates trained for years to open the eye of Horus, the inner vision that sees beyond illusion. In Vedic traditions, the third eye, or Ajna chakra, is the seat of insight and divine perception. In shamanic lineages, the seer is revered not for what they believe, but for what they see. As your clairvoyance awakens, you may see orbs, flashes of light, or even geometric patterns known as sacred geometry dancing in your awareness. These are not merely visual phenomena. They are codes, messages, the language of light made visible, but sight is only one facet. Many of the chosen ones begin to hear frequencies ringing in the ears, tones that shift from high to low. This is often a sign that your pineal gland is recalibrating, receiving transmissions from higher realms. The pineal gland, nestled deep in your brain, is crystalline in structure, literally containing microcrystals of calcite that can generate piezoelectricity. In other words, it is a natural receiver for spiritual frequencies. As this gland awakens, your ability to tune into divine guidance, to hear beyond words, becomes more pronounced. You may begin to sense the presence of beings' guides, ancestors, or higher dimensional allies. Their energy may be felt as warmth, tingling, or subtle shifts in your environment. You may not always see them, but you will know. You may receive their guidance through sudden insight, gut feelings, or dreams that leave you changed. This is not fantasy. This is the architecture of higher consciousness becoming embodied. Some chosen ones report smelling scents floral, smoky, earthy with no physical source. Others experience heightened sensitivity to noise or taste. Your body is adapting to process reality through a broader, more nuanced filter. And while this can be exhilarating, it can also be overwhelming. You may feel bombarded, overstimulated, or emotionally raw. Crowded spaces may suddenly feel unbearable. Loud noises may jolt your system. Artificial lights may cause headaches. This is not hypersensitivity, it is sacred sensitivity. Your system is learning to navigate a new vibrational reality. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned. In this phase, grounding becomes essential. Walk barefoot on the earth. Spend time with trees. Immerse yourself in natural soundscapes, birdsong, flowing water, wind. These frequencies harmonize your energy field and help anchor your expanding senses into the body. Carry grounding stones like hematite, obsidian, or smoky quartz. Practice breathing deeply into your belly, calling your awareness fully into the present moment. It is also helpful to set energetic boundaries. Not all that you perceive is meant to be absorbed. Visualize a sphere of golden or violet light surrounding your body, filtering what enters your field. Call upon your guides to help regulate your sensory channels. Remember, you are in control. Your gifts serve you. You are not a victim to them. There will be moments of wonder. Perhaps you will see the aura of a loved one glow with compassion. Perhaps you will hear a melody no one else hears and feel your heart expand. Perhaps you will touch a tree and receive a message in images or feelings. These are sacred confirmations. They remind you that the earth is alive, conscious, and that you are part of her great dreaming. As your senses expand, your intuition will deepen. You will know without knowing how you know. You will sense danger before it comes. You will feel truth resonate in your bones. This is the restoration of your spiritual technology, the divine instruments that have always belonged to you. Do not compare your gifts to others. Each chosen one awakens differently. Some see, some hear, some feel. All are valid, all are valuable. Your perception is your unique song in the choir of awakening. And as your inner vision clears, so too will your outer reality shift. You will begin to live in both worlds, honoring the physical while perceiving the spiritual. You will walk through the marketplace and the temple at once. And your life will become a bridge, a living testament that the invisible is not only real, but essential. You are not going crazy. You are becoming clear. You are not seeing too much. You are finally seeing what's been hidden. You are not imagining it. You are remembering it. The invisible world is opening its arms to you, and your senses are the doorway. Step through. Trust what you see. Trust what you feel. Trust what you know. Because the veil is not falling. It is being lifted for you. Food has always been more than fuel. For the chosen ones, it is frequency. It is memory. It is sacred exchange. What you consume does not only become your flesh, it becomes your vibration. It affects not only your health, but your energy field, your connection to source, and your ability to anchor light as your body shifts into its crystalline state. Your relationship with food changes in ways that can feel both liberating and confusing. Suddenly, the meals you once enjoyed feel heavy. The cravings you once indulged now cause discomfort. You begin to sense the weight of toxins, not just in your stomach, but in your spirit. This is not about dieting. This is about resonance. Your body is recalibrating to a higher frequency, and it no longer tolerates what dims that light. Crystalline transformation brings with it a natural sensitivity to vibration. This includes the vibration of the foods you eat. Everything holds frequency: the water you drink, the fruits you bite into, the grains you stir into soup. Living food, grown close to the earth and kissed by the sun, carries a high frequency. Processed, chemical-laden, genetically altered, or heavily industrialized foods often hold chaotic or stagnant energy. You can feel it, even before you eat it. Many chosen ones find themselves drawn instinctively to plant-based diets, not because of trend, but because of intuition. Your body, now acting as an antenna for light, wants to stay clean. It wants to be open. It wants to be radiant. Fruits, vegetables, seeds, nuts. Whole grains, these are not just nourishing. They are stabilizers of your expanding light field. It is no accident that many ancient spiritual paths emphasized fasting, purification, and conscious eating. In yoga, the concept of sattvic food refers to pure, life-enhancing nourishment that supports clarity and peace. In Ayurveda, food is medicine, chosen not only for the body, but for balancing the elements of the soul. Indigenous cultures blessed their meals, honoring the spirit of the plant or animal, engaging in sacred reciprocity. Eating was never a mindless act, it was a ritual, and now, you are remembering that. You may find yourself blessing your food without being told. You may hold your hands over your plate, intuitively infusing it with light. You may feel grief when discarding leftovers, or discomfort around waste. These are signs that your body and soul are integrating, that you are living more in harmony with the sacred web of life. But this transition is not always smooth. You may experience digestive disturbances, bloating, gas, changes in appetite or taste. This is your system detoxing not just physically, but energetically. The gut, often called the second brain, is a powerful energy center. And when your frequency changes, so does your digestion. Be gentle with yourself. Stay hydrated. Eat slowly. Listen deeply. Your body is speaking in a new language, and it takes time to understand it. Some days you may crave only fruit. Other days, warm, grounding soups. Some chosen ones begin to lose interest in food altogether, feeling nourished by breath, water, sunlight, and silence. This does not mean you are broken. It means your needs are shifting. You are learning to discern between hunger of the body and hunger of the soul. One powerful practice during this time is eating in stillness. No distractions, no screens, just you and the food. Feel the texture, the aroma, the temperature. Bless it. Thank the earth, the sun, the hands that harvested and prepared it. When you eat with presence, your body absorbs more than nutrients, it absorbs light. You may also notice that your food choices affect your dreams, your meditations, your energy flow. Heavy meals may cloud your clarity. Clean, living foods may open your intuition. Certain herbs and spices may awaken memories, activate the chakras, or stir visions. Ginger for fire, mint for breath, basil for love, turmeric for purification, cinnamon for courage. The earth provides more than sustenance, it offers sacred codes. Crystals are not the only holders of frequency. So is kale. So is wild honey. So is spring water flowing from untouched ground. As you embrace this new way of being, you become a sacred alchemist, turning every bite into a blessing. But this path is not about perfection. It is about awareness. Do not judge yourself for what you eat. Shame lowers vibration faster than sugar. Instead, observe. Ask, does this food make me feel more alive, more connected, more clear? Let your answers be your guide. There may be days when you eat something that feels dense, a comfort food, a cultural tradition, or a craving born from emotion. That's okay. Bless it. Love it. Let it pass through without guilt. The goal is not restriction. It is alignment. And alignment does not look the same for everyone. Some may thrive on raw food. Others need warmth, grounding, cooked grains. Some need more protein. Others are fed by light alone. Your path is yours. Honor it. Trust it. As the earth continues her transformation, she is calling us back to simplicity, to reverence, to the knowing that every meal is a message, that the way we feed ourselves is the way we love ourselves, that food is not separate from spirit. The next time you eat, pause. Close your eyes. Place your hands over your heart and whisper, "May this food become light within me. May it nourish not only my body, but my soul." Because you are not just eating, you are remembering, and your plate is the altar. You are the priest, and every meal is communion with the earth. There comes a moment on the path of transformation when the mind no longer functions the way it used to. The clarity you once took for granted begins to dissolve. Tasks that once felt simple become monumental. You may begin to forget names, lose track of time, or struggle to form coherent thoughts. And in those moments, fear may arise, fear that something is wrong, that your sharpness is fading, that you're losing control. But what if I told you this fog is not a failure? What if I told you that this mental disorientation is not a breakdown, but a breakthrough? That your mind is not collapsing, but being rewired. The crystalline transition is not just cellular, it is neurological. Your brain, like the rest of your body, is recalibrating to a higher frequency. Old neural pathways that once revolved around fear, judgment, competition, and survival are disintegrating. New pathways, aligned with love, unity, compassion, and divine intelligence, are beginning to form. And this restructuring can feel like chaos before it becomes coherence. This is the phenomenon many chosen ones now experience: the spiritual fog. A haze that settles over the mind, blurring logic and memory. Not to punish, but to pause, to interrupt the dominance of linear thought and make room for higher wisdom. You are not becoming less intelligent. You are becoming more intuitive. In a world addicted to mental performance, this can feel terrifying. We've been conditioned to believe that value lies in mental agility, in productivity, in certainty. But the mind was never meant to rule alone. It is a servant, not a master. And now, the heart, the soul, the higher mind, they are taking their rightful place in your inner hierarchy. This reprogramming often begins subtly. You may notice you can no longer tolerate mental noise television, gossip, overthinking. You may feel overwhelmed in environments that require too much focus or multitasking. You may start to crave silence, nature, art, simplicity. These are signs that your mind is detoxing from years, perhaps lifetimes, of overstimulation. Many ancient spiritual traditions understood this well. In the Taoist concept of Wu Wei, or effortless action, clarity comes not through force, but through stillness. In Buddhist meditation, the goal is not to think more, but to become the witness of thought. The yogis of India, the mystics of the desert, the shamans of the forest all knew the truth to know God. One must first quiet the mind. As your consciousness rises, your brain chemistry shifts. Melatonin, serotonin, and DMT levels can fluctuate. The pineal gland, often calcified by toxins and disuse, begins to reawaken. And when it does, perception expands. You begin to receive impressions, downloads, intuitive hits that bypass logic, but carry deep knowing. You may not be able to explain your insights, but you feel their truth in your bones. You are learning a new language, the language of light, symbol, vibration, and resonance. And this language cannot be fully processed by the old mental software. So the system pauses, it buffers, it stalls. This is not failure. It is upgrade. During this phase, it's important to be gentle with yourself. Do not force clarity. Do not push for performance. Rest when needed. Take breaks from mental tasks. Allow your brain to breathe. You may find it helpful to journal, but not with the goal of producing, rather, with the intention of releasing. Let the pen become your lightning rod. Let the page hold your confusion without judgment. Practice mental hygiene. Just as you clean your body, clean your mind. Use mantra, meditation, breath work. Speak affirmations that anchor your intention. My mind is clear. My thoughts serve my highest good. I trust the wisdom unfolding within me. You may find that inspiration now comes in waves, sudden bursts of genius, followed by long lulls of silence. Trust both. The silence is not empty. It is sacred gestation. The mind is resting between downloads. Also, be mindful of what you consume mentally. During this phase, violent media, fear-based narratives, or overstimulation can create spiritual interference. Choose books, films, music, and conversations that nourish your soul. Feed your mind as you would a temple with reverence. And remember, you are not alone. Countless others on this path are experiencing the same fog, the same forgetfulness, the same mental rewiring. Together, we are dissolving the old grid, the network of fear, hierarchy, and separation, and constructing a new architecture of unity and divine intelligence. This new mind is not merely sharper, it is wiser. It sees patterns where before there was only chaos. It feels truth before facts can catch up. It listens deeply, speaks with purpose, and flows with inspiration rather than effort. The fog will lift, and when it does, you will think not from your wounds, but from your wholeness. You will no longer obsess over the past or dread the future. You will dwell in presence. The mind, once a cage, becomes a canvas. This is the rewiring of consciousness. This is the mind becoming a mirror for the soul. So the next time you forget why you walked into a room, or lose track of a sentence mid-thought, breathe, smile, say thank you. Something far greater is taking shape. You are not losing your mind. You are finding your light. There is a tenderness returning to you, a softness that may feel unfamiliar at first, like the gentle ache of a heart that has been asleep for too long and is only now beginning to awaken. As the crystalline transformation deepens, your emotional field becomes more porous, more receptive, more alive. This is not weakness. This is ascension through the heart. The chosen ones are now experiencing a profound increase in emotional sensitivity. What once rolled off your back now stirs your spirit. What once felt distant now moves you to tears. The music that used to be background now speaks directly to your soul. The pain of others, once abstract, now pulses through your chest like your own. This heightened sensitivity is not a regression. It is a restoration of your original design, the design of the empathic, interconnected human. The crystalline body, being less dense, resonates with higher frequencies of feeling. Emotions are no longer confined to the narrow bandwidth of personal experience. They become channels through which collective energies move. You may feel the sorrow of the world, the grief of the earth, the joy of a stranger, the anxiety in a crowded room. This is because your heart is opening beyond identity. You are remembering that your soul is not separate. It is part of the whole. But this emotional reawakening is not always easy. You may cry for no reason. You may feel suddenly elated, only to plummet into melancholy within hours. You may wake with a heart heavy from dreams you can't remember. You may avoid places or people that feel energetically off without knowing why. These are signs that your emotional body is expanding, learning to navigate in a multidimensional world where feelings are frequencies and the heart is the compass. In ancient cultures, the heart was not just a symbol of love. It was considered an organ of perception. In Egyptian mysticism, the heart was weighed against a feather in the afterlife, not the brain, not the deeds, but the heart. In Chinese medicine, the heart is the emperor of the body, the seat of spirit. The indigenous peoples of the Americas speak of the heart as the gateway to the Great Spirit. And now, science is beginning to catch up, recognizing the heart's electromagnetic field as more powerful than that of the brain. As your heart awakens, you may feel like you're unraveling. And in many ways, you are. But what is unraveling is the armor, the walls, the masks, the survival patterns you once needed, but no longer serve you. The crystalline heart cannot carry old wounds. It must beat unburdened. This sensitivity allows you to form deeper, more meaningful connections. It brings you closer to those you love. It invites you to listen more, to speak less, to feel first and act second. But it also requires new boundaries. You are not meant to carry the world. You are meant to feel it, witness it, hold space for it, and then release it. Boundaries are not barriers. They are sacred containers. Learn to distinguish between compassion and absorption, between empathy and entanglement. You can care deeply without losing yourself. You can feel the storm without becoming the storm. Many chosen ones at this stage are called to emotional hygiene, the intentional care of their inner world. Daily grounding practices, journaling, breathwork, sound healing, even simply placing a hand on the heart and breathing. These are lifelines. Let your emotions move. Let them flow like rivers, not dams. Suppression leads to stagnation. Expression leads to liberation. Pay attention to what amplifies your heart and what dims it. Certain people, media, environments may begin to feel abrasive. That is not because you are fragile. It is because your heart is becoming honest. It is no longer willing to pretend, no longer willing to tolerate what is false. You may also notice that long-forgotten traumas resurface, not to haunt you, but to be held, to be finally felt and released. These echoes of pain are asking to be honored. Cry if you must, scream if it rises, dance, paint, sing your grief into beauty. The heart knows how to heal if you give it space. With this heightened emotional awareness comes a deeper connection to beauty. You may find yourself stunned by the light through leaves, the curve of a stranger's smile, the way a bird sings at dawn. These are not distractions. They are reminders that in a world of chaos, the sacred still sings. And sometimes, your heart will break wide open. Because to truly live as a chosen one, to walk with a crystalline heart, is to be willing to feel it all, the joy and the sorrow, the birth and the death, the ache and the ecstasy. This is divine sensitivity. This is emotional sovereignty. The world has long taught you to toughen up, to harden, to detach. But now, the call is different. The call is to soften, to open, to feel with the wisdom of ages. Your sensitivity is not a liability. It is your greatest strength. Through it, you become a mirror of the divine. So when the world feels too loud, retreat into silence. When the energy feels too dense, return to nature. When your heart feels overwhelmed, hold it like you would a child. Speak to it with tenderness. Tell it that it is safe now to feel, because in this new reality, the heart is not a passenger. It is the guide. You are not too much. You are exactly as sensitive as the world needs you to be. And your open heart is the portal through which heaven touches earth. There comes a moment when the path no longer waits for your indecision. It stands before you, shimmering with purpose, quietly demanding a choice. Not a loud, dramatic ultimatum, but a sacred invitation to stay as you are, or to become who you were always meant to be. This is the final threshold of the crystalline journey. And the chosen ones have arrived at the edge. Everything that has unfolded, the fatigue, the sensitivity, the emotional purging, the sensory expansion, the rewiring of the mind, has been preparing you for this moment. This is the chapter where knowledge becomes embodiment, where transformation is no longer a concept, but a lived reality. This is where the soul whispers, you must now choose the light, fully, but light, contrary to what some believe, is not only gentle, it is also relentless. It exposes, it purifies, it asks everything of you, especially your illusions. And so, to choose light is not to choose ease. It is to choose truth. It is to allow all that is false to fall away. Even if what remains is unfamiliar, you may already feel it. The old version of you, the one built from fear, control, trauma, and compromise, is dissolving. It is not being punished. It is being released. Your higher self no longer negotiates with the programs of limitation. It is no longer willing to bend to distortion. You cannot take your baggage into the crystalline realm. And so, the fire comes. The internal quakes arrive. The identity begins to unravel. Do not resist it. This unraveling is your initiation into sovereignty. It is here you are called to release more than pain. You are called to release the very self that was shaped in pain. You are asked to surrender the stories, the attachments, the karmic contracts, the ancestral vows that no longer align with who you are becoming. This is deep soul surgery, and it demands honesty. You must ask, who am I? Beyond my survival. Who am I when I no longer need validation? Who am I without my trauma narrative? These are not abstract questions. These are doorways. As the earth accelerates her shift into fifth-dimensional consciousness, those who are not internally aligned may experience intense resistance, even physical breakdown. The body can no longer house conflicting frequencies. This is why now, more than ever, balance is not optional, it is essential. The final choice is not external, it is internal alignment. Will you rise with the frequency of truth? Will you embody the light you were born to carry? Will you become a living temple? To choose this path means to walk in devotion. Not to dogma, not to ritual, but to presence, to radical self-honesty, to love that does not need to be earned, to truth that does not need to be defended. You become a vessel not of belief, but of being. The crystalline self is not a perfected ego. It is the luminous soul, no longer buried beneath the rubble of human programming. It is the divine made manifest through flesh. It is the new earth in human form. And now, the responsibility begins. No longer can you blame the system, the world, or others for your stagnation. You have seen too much. You have remembered too much. You now know that you are the healer. You are the liberator. You are the bridge. Others may not understand. That is okay. They do not need to. You are not here to convince, you are here to embody. Let your presence speak what words cannot. Let your radiance remind others of what they've forgotten. Your role now is not to fight darkness. It is to be so filled with light that darkness cannot remain. Your task is not to awaken others. It is to become so deeply aligned with your essence that your life becomes an invitation. The time of waiting is over. This is the hour of activation. Begin the sacred disciplines, not out of obligation, but out of reverence. Wake with the sun. Pray with your breath. Cleanse your space. Speak with integrity. Offer your food as gratitude. Serve not for applause, but because you can, because you must. Anchor light in your home, in your community, in your creations. Let your words carry frequency. Let your silence carry depth. Let your hands heal. Let your eyes see truth. And when fear arises, as it still may greet it with compassion, hold it like a child. Thank it for its service. But do not let it drive. The final choice is not a one-time decision. It is a moment-by-moment alignment, a daily devotion to authenticity, a constant recalibration to the soul. And each time you choose love over judgment, clarity over chaos, stillness over noise, you are choosing the crystalline path. You are choosing to remember. You are choosing to lead. Because you are no longer waiting for the world to change. You are becoming the change. You are no longer seeking the light. You are carrying it. You are no longer asking for permission. You are giving yourself the blessing to rise. This is the return of the true self. This is the end of forgetting. This is the beginning of everything real. And you, beloved soul, are not who you were. You are who you were always meant to be. Welcome to your rebirth. The earth is watching. The stars are waiting, and your time is now. You've made it to the end, dear soul. And that alone says something powerful about who you are. Not everyone is ready to hear these truths. Not everyone is willing to look within. But you did. You listened. You felt. You remembered. The path of the chosen one is not easy, but it is sacred. And now more than ever, your light is needed. If this message stirred your soul, I invite you to like this audio, subscribe to SoulScripture, and drop a 444 or 777 in the comments to affirm your alignment. Let us know that you're part of this rising wave of awakening. Let your presence be felt. We are not strangers here. We are the ones who remember. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and above all, stay radiant. Your time is now, and the earth is watching.